And welcome to Cafe RTF Sports Talk. I am your waiter, Matthew Lyle, joined by my fine guest, Michael Buckheister III and Grand Hefe Hatton. How are we doing today, gentlemen?
Man,
I'm doing all right. I'm kind of mad that I didn't get a Billy Haddon, Junior or something like that. Mike, the only one that get the third around here and stuff.
Well, Mike don't have a middle name. Michael Buck. Okay, Grand Hefe IV. There, you're more
Appreciate you.
distinguished.
I appreciate that.
Allow me to pepper you with compliments through
And
this
then-
beautiful dinner that we're having.
to be honest, that puts me above Mr. Hatton here on every conversation. So just go ahead and give me all the points for today, because a third always beats a fourth.
Being boastful will lose you points on this show. Have you ever seen Whose Line Is It Anyway, where points don't matter? That's the show, but the points are even more meaningless. So that's negative. That's negative 5 points for you there, Mike.
That's right.
So on today's menu, I'm going to give you we're going to start with a delicious appetizer, something that we all love, that's all close to our hearts. We're going to go into our main course with a nice medium rare recap of the Jags versus Titans, served with a side of Jalen Ramsey talking more smack. We're going to sprinkle in just a little bit of Army-Navy football talk, a little bit of quiet before the storm of bowl games. And then we're going to talk a little NBA, and then I got some nice dessert for you guys today. Loser of the show foots the bill. Are you guys ready to get going?
Let's
Ready to roll.
Let's get it. On today's, like I said, for appetizer, we're going to bring our favorite over-reaction, underreaction. Usually like to roll this out on Tuesday, but it's a beautiful Friday, so I thought I would treat you guys to something nice. I'm going to give you, just because we don't want to get filled up on appetizers, I'm giving you guys each a minute to prove your case here. Starting number one, overreaction, underreaction. Oklahoma has back-to-back Heisman-winning quarterbacks for the first time in history. Overreaction, underreaction. Mike, the third start.
That is not an overreaction because of the injury that Tua suffered in the SEC championship game, therefore hurting his stats come toward the end of the season. And then a lot of voters are going to look at stats and the overall winning of a team. So I believe that Kyler Murray threw for 350 yards in the Big 12 championship game when Tua was, I don't remember the exact stats. I don't have those in front of me, but I think it was like 120, 150 yards or so, because he was basically hurt that whole fourth quarter and then half of the third out of the lag as well. So that is not an overreaction. I do think Kyler Murray will win the Heisman this season.
Billy.
I think it's an overreaction. If you look at history, normally the Walter Camp, the Player of the Year, normally gets the Heisman. That's why they normally give the other guy, because it's normally all quarterbacks, the Davey O'Brien, which is, the quarterback award, the best quarterback in college football. And then the Heisman normally get, the Walter Camp and the Heisman. It's been that way now for a while. If I'm not mistaken, the last 4 or 5 Heismans has won the Walter Camp. I fully expect this to happen again. Mike, I don't think they care about he only played a half or whatever he played in the SEC championship game. He's only thrown 3 passes in the fourth quarter all season, and he's been still the Heisman favorite this whole entire time. I don't think that changes anything right now. So, I think it's an overreaction. Kyler Murray won't win. I think he should, but I don't think he will.
Let me sprinkle some cheese and pepper on these salads here. I think both of you got some points. Billy, I think the hype for Tua is already off the charts. It's going to be tough for him to lose that. The only thing that Murray has is all the stats are better: passing, rushing, total touchdowns. And the only thing I would give to Mike's point, and I think you're right, Billy, if he had just played a half and then decided to chill or got hurt at the first half, that would be one thing. But he played pretty rough in the first half. So I'm just curious if that will weigh on their mind. But as time goes on and I'm starting to see these awards unfold, I'm going to go with Billy here on this one, because I do think that the hype train that Tua built for the first 12 weeks is too much to be undone by one half.
Well, I mean, if you guys don't mind, let me add something here.
You got 30 seconds, Mike.
Kyler Murray does also have the highest QBR in college football in the last 15 years at a 96, I think it was. So just, I mean, how can you be the best quarterback and then lose to a quarterback in the Heisman? That it just doesn't make sense.
Because it's not the best quarterback award; it's the best player on the best team award, and the best team's Alabama, and the best player on it's Tua.
Well, until they lose to Oklahoma.
I also think this as well, Mike. You look at Kyler Murray's stats, what he got about 40 touchdowns or so like that, and Tua got 37. So you're talking about a 13-game season for Alabama, including the SEC championship game, where he really hasn't even played in the fourth quarter of any game. So if Kyler Murray is always playing in the fourth quarter. So just imagine what Tua's stats would be if he was playing, if Nick Saban was like, no, we're not going to let Jalen get his NFL experience so he can get his tape out there so guys can be looking at him. Imagine if Nick Saban just let Tua play in those fourth quarters. Imagine what his stats would be right now.
Yeah, you know what, Billy? You definitely get the point on that one because I can't I was arguing the opposite, and I wouldn't be surprised if Kyler Murray won it, but I can't penalize Tua for his team having a defense and Kyler Murray's not. So moving on here, Kelvin Benjamin last night during the Thursday night football game signed with the Chiefs. Overreaction, underreaction that this signing revitalizes his career. Billy, start.
I think it's a underreaction or a right on point reaction. He's now going to a team where he's not the number one receiver. In Baltimore, he's the number one. In Buffalo, he was the number one receiver. In Carolina, he was the number one receiver. I don't think he really necessarily have to deal with that. And if you look at Kelvin Benjamin's career, even going back to Florida State, he wasn't ever the number one receiver. When he was there, Rashard Green was the number one receiver. And he also had another guy, Kenny Stills, around him. And Jameis Winston and all the James Wilder and Devontae Freeman. So he's always been on a team when he succeeded where he didn't have to do as much. I think now going with Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes throwing the ball, I think that's a significant upgrade from even Cam Newton. I think his career does get revitalized right here.
Mike?
And I'm going to have to go over the opposite on this one. The Kansas City kind of has a proven track record of, like, if they bring in a big-name receiver, i.e. Jeremy Maclin here a couple years ago, he was not good in this offense. Yes, since then, the Andy Reid offense has picked up and has changed and has become more of a high-flying offense. But he will have a mediocre career in Kansas City if he stays there 3, 4, 5 years, but he will not be that top prospect that we all thought he was coming out of college. So it is a overreaction, but he'll have like a mediocre seasons or 4 or 5 years in Kansas City.
I'm going to give Mike the point on this one, and only because I don't know that the timing works in his well. I don't know why he keeps getting cut. I don't know why he keeps sliding down. It's starting to look like he doesn't have the greatest of work ethics. And I don't know if week, 13 or 14 is the week you come in and try to get organized in, and a great offense that the Chiefs have been rolling. I mean, the Chiefs everything's been working. I don't know how much of a role he's going to be able to come in and play. I'm going to give Mike the point on this one. Let's move on over to some nice little breadsticks for us. We've always talked that this point of the NBA does not matter. But if you look at the rankings, the number one team in the East, no shock, Raptors. Maybe a little shock, but I don't think nobody's too surprised. You look at the West, you have the Nuggets. Are the Nuggets – I don't think they're a contender. I don't think anyone here can debate that they're a contender or not right now. But are Nuggets at least a team that the West should fear? Billy, go.
Not at all. Who do they have? They got some nice pieces. I like Jokic. I like Murray. But we're talking about the playoffs here. And this is the reason why, I picked the Lakers, to be in the Western Conference Finals, barring if they don't meet the Golden State Warriors before they can get there, is how hard is it to beat a good team in the playoffs? It's different when the regular season, when you get to catch guys on back-to-back, you get to catch guys resting, not really worrying about it because there's an 82-game season. But when it's win or go home, in that 7-game series, it's hard to beat good teams 4 times. And I just don't think that this Nuggets team is a good team, a team that we'll think about who can beat them 4 times. Because I can think of a lot of teams that could beat them 4 times.
Mike, just to save a little face with formality here, I didn't propose the question as the appetizer should have been proposed. Mike, the Nuggets are a team that should be feared in the West. Overreaction, underreaction. Thanks for your great work, Billy, but that was on me.
That is
Mike the third. Mike the third. What do you got?
That is definitely a overreaction here, because if you would look at the other teams that are, if the playoffs were start today, yes, the Denver Nuggets would be the number one all seed, but they would be playing a Dallas Mavericks team that I think could probably beat them in a 4-game series, or say they make it past that point, they would be playing the Golden State Warriors or the Los Angeles Lakers. They are not a team to be feared. There are so many other teams in the West that can beat them right now. Like you had the Warriors, you had the Lakers. I even like the Portland Trailblazers. They are coming on strong. And the Houston Rockets, even though I believe they are the second to worst team in the Western Conference, just below the Suns, I think the Rockets can even beat the Denver Nuggets if they slide into that eight seed. So it's a definitely overreaction. They are in a good groove right now, playing some weak competition. So overreaction.
So you both made great points. You both made the same point, and that's great. And I agree wholeheartedly with everything you said. But the point's going to go to Billy on this one. Mike, you can't make your point of telling me not to trust the Denver Nuggets and then have them losing to the only team that I trust less than the Denver Nuggets as the Dallas Mavericks. Point to Billy. Moving on to the last thing here.
How can you not trust the Dallas Mavericks?
Because at least
they've been there, done that.
Yes, they were been there, done that last year, and they were the worst team in the West. Of course, been there, done that. Get out of here, Mike. 2 points to Billy. All right, moving on. 11 undefeated college basketball teams remain. The likes of Gonzaga, the likes of Virginia, the likes of Michigan, and another team that's ranked pretty highly. Forgot what it is.
Nevada.
Yeah, we don't care. I'm definitely not trusting Nevada. We've pretty much all been on record that Duke's probably one of the best teams in the country, if not the best. That it's just really hard to go 40-0 and undefeated. But overreaction, underreaction, that one of these teams will go undefeated in the regular season. Mike, third, start first.
All right. As far as the undefeated teams go, I'm looking at the Michigan Wolverines. I'm looking at Gonzaga, and then I see this Kansas Jayhawks team. The only team that I could possibly see going undefeated is the Gonzaga Bulldogs, simply because of their lack of competition after January 1st. Their conference is just so horrible that if they are not blowing teams out by 15 to 20 points every game, we're going to kind of scratch our head like, hey, what's going on there? So Gonzaga is the only team that I could possibly see that would go undefeated this season. So give me the Gonzaga before even having a potential of going undefeated.
So you're going underreaction?
Yeah.
All right, Billy, what you got? Overreaction?
I'm gonna go overreaction. I mean, even looking at Gonzaga's schedule, as Mike alluded to, outside of this month, outside of December, they don't have a ranked team. They don't have any team that you even know on their schedule. But they are playing a tough Tennessee team. That's not going to be easy. After coming off a near loss to a Washington Husky team. Also they got a North Carolina team at home in Chapel Hill. That arena will be rocking. That will not be an easy game. Yeah, they beat Duke. That was on a neutral site game. Chapel Hill will be rocking. So no, I think it's an overreaction. I don't think any team will go undefeated in the regular season.
I'm going to go with you on that one, Billy, too. I think it's an overreaction. I do like what Mike said. I like that conference schedule, but I think the Gonzaga conference, which is the WAC, isn't the strongest, but it always is chock full of seniors. And seniors have played this Gonzaga team for 3 years, so they always know how to get a win. And to the point that you made, I think the likes of Tennessee and North Carolina are just going to be too much for them to navigate completely through. Billy's going to get the point on this, but I will say, Mike, if you are right, you'll get 1,000 points.
Well, in my defense, I totally
You get no defense.
Well, I totally skipped over the rest of the month of December. I didn't realize they played Tennessee and North Carolina coming up these next two
Well,
games.
then 2 points for Billy for doing his homework. All right. Hope you guys had a great appetizer. We're moving on here to the main course. Everybody watched the Thursday night Snorefest last night. It's actually a little better than I thought as far as seeing Derrick Henry come out. Tennessee got a very well-needed win and well-earned. Jacksonville looks like crap. But what's your recaps on that, Billy?
This game went about as expected. Nobody really thought Cody Kessler was going to come in and do anything worthwhile. He didn't do anything last week. He didn't do much this week or yesterday, I should say. Leonard Fournette, first game back, 36 yards on 14 carries. That's pathetic. Marcus Mariota really didn't play well either, but I think what he did was they controlled the clock on the ground, which is what I thought that they would do. I said it yesterday. Marcus Mariota would be good on the ground. Derrick Henry would also be good on the ground. He came out the game with, I think, over 230-some yards, 4 touchdowns, that 199-yard run where he seemed like he stiff-armed everybody that was coming this way. That's what I expected from out of the Tennessee Titans this game, playing this team. And now they move into tie for 6th place for the wild card in the AFC with the Baltimore Ravens, who I think is going to falter. So that's a big win for Tennessee.
Mike, what you got?
Yeah, it was definitely a game that I did not see going this way. You could see the Jacksonville Jaguars defense just lose all hope after they got that safety, and then the Jaguars they drove down the field 70, 80 something yards, and then they got stopped at the at the 1, and then the very next play Henry ran that 99-yard, 3-4 stiff-arm yard run. I turned the game off. Jacksonville was beat at that point. This just goes to show you that Jacksonville defense needs an offense to help them out. That Jacksonville defense is such a head case that if they don't have any type of offense, that they're going to give up and they want to give you the game. And that's kind of what happened. After that point, the Jacksonville defense didn't really care all that much. Their tackling was horrible. So, I mean, I give all the props to the Titans. I give the props to Billy for picking that game correctly. But if that game was played again and then the Jaguars scored that touchdown on that 1-yard drive, I think it would have been a different game. But the takeaway is Tennessee is still not a team to kind of be concerned about. They aren't going to make the playoffs, and they're not going to beat the Chiefs in the first round again.
All right, let me assess these points here. Billy,
I felt some hate there.
Billy, you get the point for picking the game right. Mike, you lose a point for picking the game wrong. Mike, you get a point because I'm siding with you on this. I did not see Tennessee Titans winning 30-9. I thought it was going to be a Snorefest 12-6 type game. Also, to your point, Cody Kessler seems to only be able to win games when he only needs to put up 3 or 6 points. That's not really going to win you any games in the NFL. Mike, I'm also going to deduct a half a point from you because you broke down some great assessments of Derrick Henry breaking tackles and shrugging off guys, but yet you stated you turned the game off after the 99-yard touchdown. So which is it? Did you turn the game off, Mike, or did you watch him continue to shrug off tackles? Pick a side and stay on there.
I turned it back on the fourth.
Get out.
After they were up like 20 points or whatever it was.
So
Matthew, I don't want to derail your show. You're doing.
You're about to, but let's go ahead.
Yeah. But I said this back when Leonard Fournette was coming out of college. I said he was going to be a bust. Maybe bust was a strong word, but he really hasn't lived up to the potential of who they said this guy was or what he was going to be. Do you think, looking back now that we got a full season and a half almost now, do you think that was the right pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars? I asked both of you guys that question, and then you can go to your next question.
Well, I think just on a point
because I said Dalvin Cook. I said Dalvin Cook would have a better career, and I would have been right had Dalvin Cook not tore his ACL last year.
Well, I mean, that's a tough one. You could have been right, but that's a tough one to go on. To my last point to Mike, they did get excited out of nowhere when they stopped him from getting his 5th touchdown. Way to get hyped there, guys. But to your point, Billy, I think he goes to say that this isn't the 90s anymore. This isn't the early 2000s anymore. You look at the great running backs. I mean, I guess you could give Zeke a little love because he doesn't get to play with Dak. But I think Dak's better than anything Jacksonville's trotted out since Brian Leftwich. That, yes, you can have a great back. And I don't really know truly how good Fournette is because he's one of a bigger back. He's got hands of stone, which doesn't really lend itself to be very friendly in the NFL these days. But when you don't have you look at these other backs out there. Kareem Hunt, before his situation, had a great passing game. Even last year, he caught some people off guard, but he did a lot in the screen game. You look at Todd Gurley as a part of one of the most prolific offenses out. I mean, it's just tough to have. Even I don't care how good you are. Bring Barry Sanders and Herschel Walker back, and if you don't have a passing game in today's NFL, you're going to struggle. So I don't know how much I can put this on Leonard Fournette. But to your original question, Billy, I'd have to go back and look at who else in that draft. But based on how bad they look on offense, I'm probably pretty sure they could probably pick somebody else.
Yeah, and I kind of got to echo that too. I mean, in this offensive age that we are a part of, you can get any tailback in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, in the 5th rounds of the draft to do what you need to do. You basically just need a back to basically keep the safeties honest, the linebackers honest, that type of thing. So I believe Leonard Fournette was a fourth overall pick, and I mean they could have drafted a quarterback, they could have drafted a wide receiver, they could have drafted a lineman to help a future tailback, be successful in that offense. But for you to call him a bust, I think that's a very strong word. Let's give him a couple more years. Let's give him a quarterback that can get the ball down the field, open up the offense, and then try to see him run and see what happens.
To your point on that, Mike, the man may not get the couple years. The man may never get the quarterback. So that's tough to say. And then Billy's terms, whether you think he set up too premature or if he has to wait 3 years, those things may never come to fruition, and he may be deemed a bust or one of the bigger of the disappointments at running back. So back on the topic here, taking a point away from Billy for derailing the show, and then 10 points to me from having Mike the Third echo my sentiment. So I'm doing pretty awesome today. Quick question. I just need a yes or no.
Somebody's humble.
Very humble. I am the most humblest person that I know.
Way to take that left turn, guys.
Exactly. Blame Billy. He greased up the slides. All right, guys, pump the brakes. All right, quick yes or no. I just need one answer. Derrick Henry, is this the side of things to come, or is this a one-hit wonder with that game last night? Billy.
One-hit wonder.
Mike.
It's definitely a one-hit wonder.
Oh, the one hit of the one hits. I get knocked down. Don't make me start singing Chumbawamba on here. I will break all the copyright laws if we're talking one-hit wonders. All right, staying on this game. Last night, in true Jalen Ramsey fashion, I'm going to paraphrase here because I don't have the exact quote in front of me. He basically said, "This is not my fault." And, I mean, when you look at a running back that went nuts, and to Billy's point, Marcus Mariota didn't really play amazing. A, is it okay for Ramsey to say this? And B, if it's not his fault, whose fault is it? Mike, go.
It is not okay for him to say this. At the beginning of the year, he was calling out all these quarterbacks, saying that they were good or bad or like indifferent. And ever since then, he has not lived up to any hype that you could possibly think of. Looking at his stats from last night, I think he had 2 tackles like all night, and like that was because he kind of fell into the play. He is not being the lockdown guy that the Jacksonville Jaguars need at this time, or even being an emotional leader that they need as a team right now. Like this team is they are treading water and they don't know if they're sinking, if they're coming, or they're going. They're out in the middle of the ocean. So they need Jalen Ramsey to step up, take some blame, and like get this team back to where they were last year, a playoff contending team. So shut up, Jalen Ramsey, take the blame, and get your team to possibly a greatest stature type thing.
Billy.
I'm gonna go on the other side of this. I'm with Jalen Ramsey on this. I mean, what else do you want him to do? I mean, he's a cornerback. How many guys are out there catching touchdown passes on him? So is he doing his job or is he not doing his job? I think he's doing his job well. He just like he alluded to in that interview, he can't control that Derrick Henry got 238 yards, that they pounded the ball on the ground. That's not his fault. So if I'm Jalen Ramsey, yeah, I'm looking at it like it's not my fault. Like, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to go play offense too? Do you want me to go play defensive line so I can get a push so we can stop the guy in the backfield before he get 40 yards to where we at, because I have to guard my man as well? So I think we're putting too much or giving Jalen Ramsey too much credit just because he's the one that's out there talking. But you paying him to stop receivers. Is he doing that or is he not doing that? And I'm pretty sure he's doing that, because the passes that was caught last night, Mike, to your credit, you say he only had like 2 tackles last night. That's because Marcus Mariota barely completed anything. You know, he only completed 18 passes. And those 2 tackles that Jalen Ramsey might have had, one was only for like 3 yards, for 4 yards on a slant, and then I can't remember what the other one was. So for me, yeah, Jalen Ramsey is doing his job. It's not his fault that his offense can only score 9 points. It's not, So for me, yeah, Jalen Ramsey, you're doing your job. It's not on Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, but as a leader of the team, you need to step up and like you need to take blame. Do not send the blame over to the coaches.
Take blame for what though? What is he taking blame for?
Take blames for your backers being crappy. Take blames for your.
How can you take blame for another grown man, Mike, not doing his job?
Because
that's absurd. That's absurd to me. That don't make any sense.
I'm not saying take like the blame, like this is all my fault. But like you need to take blame, saying I'm not being.
But that is what you're saying.
I'm not being the proper leader on the team to encourage these guys, or to put him in the right
he's
spot.
not a leader. Maybe he's not a leader. Maybe he's just a very good player. I think that's the thing that in sports that it kind of grinds my gears. Just because the guy is the best player, that don't make him a leader. That just means he's good at what he do. That don't always necessarily make you a leader just because you're the best player on the team. No, I'm just good at doing my job.
Okay, so
that's what I'm good at.
Okay, so you might be the best player on the team, but then to be honest, let's not vocalize how crappy everybody else is.
But they are.
Well, no.
Was he wrong?
Well, I am talking about when he did that. When he did that interview with the GQ.
The GQ interview.
So as you put your face out there, calling all these people out. In return, that makes you the leader of the team. That makes you the face of the team. So when things look like this, they look crappy, you are the one to blame because you have put your face out there to become the leader of the team, to be the face of the franchise.
Mike, I get that, but you just said that take accountability for your linebackers not playing. Like that's the craziest thing to me when we got a 2-time Super Bowl winning coach on their sideline as their defensive coordinator. Why does Jalen Ramsey need to take credit for or take blame for Jerry Jack, Miles Jack and Telvin Smith and the rest of these guys not doing what they're supposed to do? He's supposed to take accountability for guys jumping outside, for letting Derrick Henry I guess he's supposed to take accountability for Derrick Henry stiff-arming the whole team outside of him because he was playing on the other side of the field. Like, that makes no sense to me. Is the guy doing his job or not? Because that's all we ask of people. Do your job. Is he doing his job?
I am saying take responsibility by not blaming other people. You do not need to be Aaron Rodgers on this team.
Who did he blame, though? I'm still missing on who did he blame. He didn't blame anybody. He just said it's not my fault.
Yeah.
He said, what else do you want me to do? Because the reporter asked him, are you locked in? Yes, I'm locked in. He said, what am I supposed to do when they pounding us on the ground? I didn't get many opportunities to make any plays. What's false about what he said?
I'm not saying anything is false of like what he said, but I'm saying he needs to say, as a team, we need to play better. We need to lock down the run better. You do not need to single yourself out. If you want to be the face,
reporter singled him out. He said, "Are you still locked in?" That's what he said. Are you still locked in? He didn't say his defense still locked in. He said, "Are you still locked in?" That's a personal question.
So the answer to that question
personal
is
question.
Yes,
I'm still locked in. That's what he said.
Yeah,
that's what he said. Yes, I'm still locked in, but I didn't get many opportunities. That's what he said. So yes, I'm still locked in, but I didn't get many opportunities. They pounded us on the ground.
And then
what do you want me to do?
Yeah, what do you want me to do? Like, he did not need to add that. By adding that last little bit, that took all the blame. That made him the leader and putting it on like everybody else. Like, you just need to be a team player and just play the game. And then
I can't believe what I'm hearing. I can't believe this, Mike. I can't.
Let me just slide in. Let me just slide in here. All right, guys. I'll be honest with you, Mike. I see why you do this. This is kind of fun being on the watching in. But I'm going to side with Billy on this one. A couple of reasons. I've said the same thing with Kevin Durant. I don't think it's his job to go be a savior of leadership. It's just his job to make money and win games. And the same thing goes for Jalen. And as far as should he have said it, I don't know. But one thing I can't be a hypocrite myself. I can't say that. Remember, I was harsh on Jalen when he talked all that smack early, but then when they started losing, he said nothing. So if you're going to talk smack when you're winning, you better talk a little bit of, little like that when you're losing. And he did that, and I have no problem with it. So I'm not going to give any point on that one. Great conversation. I'm a little with Billy though, Mike. I can't believe you wanted to do all that. But let's move on. Get the ropes here. I'm going to put you on a time constraint. We got Army versus Navy, the only football game. It's a good football game. It's a battle of two armed forces. It's a battle of the triple option and the wing T. These teams have met 118 times. Navy leads 60-51, 7 ties. Largest victory goes to Navy. Longest winning streak goes to Navy. But the current win streak goes to Army. Billy, who you got in this one? 1 minute, go.
I'm going to go my Army Black Knights here. The Navy, they had their little run to fame when they had their quarterback a few years ago, the guy that was breaking all the records and all that other stuff. And they were talking cash money. I'm out here at Fort Bliss. These guys talk cash money because we got the Navy out here as well. And now the tides have turned. And the Army Black Knights are back on top. I fully expect them to win this game. I don't think this game will be close. That triple these teams see each other all the time, so they're familiar with each other. Army wins this game.
Mike, what say you?
I have to echo a lot of what Billy's saying. And just to add to your point there, Billy, the Army team, they are wearing the Pig Red 1 uniforms this Saturday, and like that Army base is close and dear to my heart. So I'm kind of excited to see that. But guys, if you turn this game on at 4:05, you are going to probably miss the game. This game is going to be 60 minutes exactly. Maybe a little pregame, maybe a little like a little halftime. But if you turn the game on at 4:15, you are going to miss the game. So be sure to tune in at 3:00 because both these teams are just going to run the ball. I believe the Navy quarterback only has 400 yards passing on the whole year. Army quarterback is almost to 1,000 yards. So it's going to be a good game. Give me Army, and I think they're going to win probably like 21-28 points. It's going to be a blowout.
All right, Mike. Point to Mike for the little uniswag. I always like when we talk uniforms. Loving it. But 10 points to Billy for being a part of the Army and serving and protecting. Thank you for your service, Billy. Moving on here to the last topic of our main course. We had a little spicy steak there. It was a little spicier than I thought it when I first ordered it off the menu. But we're going to finish up here on our main course with Markelle Fultz. Billy was talking bust earlier. A lot of people putting the word bust on this kid. I don't know if you should put it this early. He's going to have some specialists look at some nerve damage in the shoulder. They don't know what's going on. They've never really seen this in sports. There's talks of trading him. 2 quick questions, Billy. You got a minute. Can he salvage a career, and is it going to be with Philadelphia? Go.
No and no. And to your first question, I don't think he'll be able to salvage his career because once your confidence is shot, man, like it's tough to get that back, especially as a professional athlete. Guys like probably me and you and Mike that'll probably go to the rec or something and play ball. We get our confidence shot. Guess what? We'll probably go back the next day and we'll probably be all right. But when you are a professional athlete and you got millions of people that's just talking about you, saying you can't do this, saying you're trash, guys scoring touchdowns and emulating the way you shoot free throws because it's so bad. I think that's just too much for a guy that don't look mentally tough. And I'm not sure if he is or not. So I don't want to say that he's not. But just it doesn't seem like this guy is mentally tough at all. It seems like he lets a lot of stuff get to him. I see Philadelphia getting rid of him before it's too late. At least get something back for him, because he's not going to be any main contributor on this team. You see his jump shot is just, I mean, guys are literally begging this guy to shoot the ball. And when he shot a three, I remember like a few weeks ago, he made a three and everybody went crazy. For an NBA guy making a three-pointer, who was the number two pick in the draft, one pick
number
in the
one.
draft. This guy, I mean, come on, man. I think it's over with for him. I think he's a bust. I don't think he probably should have been number one to begin with. I said that back then, so this is not hindsight 2020. I also said the same thing about Lonzo. I'm kind of proven to be right on that as well. But yeah, Markelle Fultz is done.
Mike, same to you. Can he salvage it, and is it with Philly?
Okay, so I think he will stay in Philly simply because of a potential lawsuit that might happen. Like I was doing some reading for the show here, and Fultz has a very good opportunity of suing the Philadelphia 76ers for the lack of care. He has been diagnosed with a TOS system, which is basically where you have pain in your neck and your shoulder and your arms, and it basically makes your arm like those limbs feel like they are asleep. So that is why his shot looks so bad. And then the Philadelphia 76ers, they have given him the thought that there is nothing wrong with him. It is all in his head, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if he can figure this out, figure out some type of treatment, some pills, something to make that tingling go away, I think he can salvage a really good season, and he could be a very good contributor on the 76ers team. But I don't see him getting traded just because of the fear of a lawsuit in the end.
So on his, I agree. I think he can have a somewhat resemblance of a career, but I think it's going to have to be somewhere else. There was talks of him going to Cleveland. I think you send him there. If he plays horrible, whatever. If he plays great, great for him. But come on, Mike, I'm tired of this litigious environment that we lived in. I'm tired of turning on ESPN and hearing lawsuits. Jerry Jones suing, Le'Veon Bell suing, this Pittsburgh Steelers suing, this suing, that suing. Come on with it. If they want to trade him, it's better for the team. It's better for Markelle Fultz, to be honest with you, because this team does not need him and really doesn't appear like they want him right now. Let him go. Move on. That's a horrible one. So I got a nice wine for you guys, though. We've had, like I said, a spicy show. Got a nice wine for you. Some quick 30-second pick'ems here in college basketball. We got number 9 Kentucky taking on Seton Hall at noon on Saturday. Who you got, Mike?
Like I've alluded to on another show here, Big Blue Breakdown. I'm going to have to go with the Kentucky Cats here. They're going to have they're going to struggle for a 7 to 8 minute period, but then they're going to lock into gear and they're going to put this very good Seton Hall team down. So give me the Cats. I think they win by 9.
Taking a point from Mike for a selfless plug. Who you got, Billy?
Mike, you had like that was a tough pick for you, to pick Kentucky over Seton Hall. I think this is a no-brainer. I think Kentucky wins, and I think they win big. I don't see how they fall here.
All right.
Well, let me add that. The only way Seton Hall has a chance is if this Powell kid he goes off like he did last month. I believe in the month of November he was averaging around 36 to 40 points per game. So that's how they'll even have a chance.
I'm going with Kentucky on this one too. We got a surprise start team, Indiana Hoosiers with Romeo Langford. We got a surprisingly scrappy team that I love to hate in the Louisville Cardinals. Who you got, Billy?
I got Louisville. I'm just gonna go ACC, and then I know you guys also are big Kentucky fans. So just to do a little troll here, I'm gonna go Louisville.
Point for trolling. Who you got, Mike?
I'm going to go with Indiana Hoosiers. I think Indiana they're going to be a team that you don't want to play come March. And I seen Langford play in the high school ranks. he is a very solid player, and I think he will take over this game and he will dominate the Cards.
All right, I agree with you, Mike, mainly because I like to see Romeo Langford. But to your point, that they got to be a tough team in March. They got to stay healthy. They got to have a team to put on the floor.
Right.
They're fighting injuries at every position. But I also hate Louisville, so give me Indiana. Really quick, last one here. We got number 10, Michigan State, taking on Florida. Who you got, Mike?
I like Michigan State. They are always scrappy. Every time you count these guys out, they somehow find their way in the Final Four. But I got to go with Florida on this one.
Mike, or Billy, what say you?
I'm gonna go Michigan State. I like Langford and Kenny Goins. Give me a Mike Izzo coach team against a struggling Florida team right now. Give me Michigan State.
Yeah, Florida is struggling. Michigan State's better, but Michigan State's let me down. I'm an SEC guy. Give me Florida, but Michigan State. I wanted y'all to beat Kansas. You laid an egg. You tried to make a comeback, couldn't do it. I wanted you to beat Louisville. You laid an egg, tried to make a comeback, couldn't do it. I'm done with you, Michigan State. Give me Florida on this one. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed your meal. Bringing out some dessert. This is going to be real quick. Need one word from you. It's going to be a dessert version of our overreaction, underreaction. I'm going to bring you out each little dessert. And it's going to be sweet or too sweet. Basically, overreaction or a legitimate statement. So I need one word, sweet or too sweet. Chiefs have the number 1 seed in the AFC by the end of the season, or still keep it by the end of the season. Billy, sweet or just right, or too sweet?
Too sweet. I got them losing. I got the Cardinals. The Chargers making a thingy. Go ahead.
All right, Mike, one word. Sweet or too sweet?
Sweet.
All right.
Two
of the 4 college football teams or 2 of the 4 teams in the college football playoffs make next year's college football playoffs. Alabama's been in it every year. The last 4 of the last years have been Clemson. Notre Dame's the first time. Oklahoma's a back-to-back time. So, like I said, 2 of the 4 college football playoff teams that are in it this year will be in it next year. Mike, sweet or too sweet?
Oh, too sweet. Too sweet.
Billy?
Sweet.
All right. LeBron James. They had a little word. KD said something about LeBron James being the media darling or something along those lines. Try not to get caught up in all the drama. But LeBron James and KD will play together before their careers are over. Billy, sweet or too sweet?
I'm going to go too sweet.
Mike?
Ooh, sweet. Sweet.
Yeah, you got horrible taste. All right, last one. Last little dessert for you guys. Someone outside of Reddish, Zion, Barrett, Langford, or Bobo will be drafted in next year's top 3. Mike, sweet or too sweet?
Too sweet.
Billy?
I'm gonna go too sweet.
Yeah, just my last thing on that one. I think somebody might sneak in from overseas, but I think these guys are looking pretty solid. So, all right, guys.
However, watch out for Dean Wade from Kansas State. I'm telling y'all.
Mike. Negative 100 points, Mike. Negative 100. Billy, bring us the mint. The mint of your rant.
I changed this mid-sentence. Can I talk about a few things here?
Sure.
All right.
Let's see.
So the first thing is, and I don't want to go too political with this. That's why I'm switching off of it quickly after I make the point. And this one goes to the Washington Redskins. And not because they didn't sign Colin Kaepernick. I don't care. I've been quoted a few times saying Colin Kaepernick had his shot. He turned it down. Now it's up to you. But I don't like teams that's making PR stunts. And what I mean by PR stunts is you mentioning Colin Kaepernick's name as if you were really going to sign him, even though you wasn't going to sign him. And that kind of rubbed me the wrong way because I think right now the Washington Redskins got a lot of heat on them because of the situation with Reuben Foster. And maybe, just maybe, they thought, let's just mention Colin Kaepernick's name out here, and maybe we'll get back in the good graces of some of the people in the media, because the media is really the only people that's pushing for Colin Kaepernick. Obviously, the fans, but the media, a lot of the media people know that Colin Kaepernick should probably be in the NFL. Just stop throwing Colin Kaepernick's name out there when you know you're not going to do it. I kind of equated this the same way as the Rooney Rule, in football where you have to at least consider a minority coach, where you have to give them an interview similar to what the Eagles did a few years ago when they hired Doug Peterson, where they just gave Deuce Staley, where they know they wasn't going to give him a job. They know Deuce Staley is nowhere near ready for a head coaching job, where they just interviewed him because they already knew they wanted Doug Peterson. I feel a lot of teams are doing that with Cap just to try to get in good graces of teams. And Mike, this one is for you and people, that's on that same train as you. Going to the Jalen Ramsey situation, can we? And Matthew kind of alluded to it. Can we stop saying that these guys shouldn't say what's on their mind and they should just be quiet and they shouldn't say anything, as if grown people shouldn't be accountable for their mistakes? Why should we, all grown men in here, we all put our pants on the same way? We all getting paid to do a job. You do your job, I do my job, and why should I take accountability for you? That doesn't make any sense to me. So, media obligation, you either want them to say something or you don't want them to say nothing, because when they don't say nothing, everybody gets all up in arms. Marshawn Lynch, as Matthew alluded to, Jalen Ramsey earlier in the season. Now, I don't like that. When you talk, you got to talk after losses. You can be beating me by 50, and guess what? I'm still going to be talking. It doesn't matter to me. But we either want these guys to talk or we don't want these guys to talk, or we do want them to talk. And there has to be some accountability. I can't take all the blame just because I'm quote unquote the best player on the team. We didn't want LeBron James to take accountability for J.R. Smith not knowing how much time was on the clock. We didn't get mad at LeBron for being mad in that situation. We all talked about J.R. Smith. So, that's what I got on that. That's my rant for today.
All right. That's like when you go to your grandma's house, you reach in the candy tin, you think you grab a mint, but you grab one of them Red Hots instead. So I got to get you guys out. We got another lovely couple coming in for their dinner. It was great to have you on. Billy, good rant. Mike, great argument throughout the show. However, Mike, you're stuck with the bill, and we got expensive taste. Thank you for joining us at R2F Sports Talk.